I test so many gaming headsets on this channel that they tend to start blending together. I mean, I'm sure you guys can relate, right? You're like, oh boy, here we go, another gaming headset video. Until something fresh and innovative comes out, like this from Havit. Like seriously, what the heck is this? Stay tuned through this video because this is one you gotta see. And I know we all want to check out this cool new headset, but first I want to show you what you get inside your box. Of course, you get your headset, and you can also get this in a white version as well. Now you got all these other cables down here. You got a USB-A to C, you got a USB-C to 3.5, and then you have USB-C to C, then you got a USB-A to C adapter, and then you have your USB-C wireless dongle, which you can plug that in if you don't got a C port, or you can use it on any of your other cables here. And the cool thing is, yes, you can use this headset through all of these connections and get audio, whether you're going USB-C into the headset, you're going 3.5, or you're going wireless. Now, it's not 3.5 to 3.5 as I just showed you, it's actually USB-C to 3.5. So just keep that in mind. We'll talk more about that later on. You also get your detachable microphone, some paperwork, and then these little deals here, which actually go into these ear cups if you want to make them more or less like a closed back type of headphone, which we'll talk more about that in the sound. But before we talk about sound and features and functions, we have to talk about comfort of this headset, right? Like, come on, this is totally different. Now, while I'm talking about the comfort of this headset, I'm also going to talk about the build quality, as I think they go hand in hand, especially with this headset. But I want to start off with the weight of this headset. You can see we're getting right around 295 grams roughly. And as far as the weight, obviously you can see the materials are minimal on this headset, right? Number one being the ear pads. It's not traditional. It's almost like these little ear rings going around there. And the material on these is actually like a rubber. So super easy to clean, but not very moldable and plush to your head. As you see, they do got that bounce, so they got plenty of give, but again, you really just have that little bit, and you do have the rubber on your ears. But nothing in here, so your ears stay incredibly cool, almost cold at times, right? Now coming up to the headband, kind of traditional, pleather line right up there, super plush going all the way around it. And as far as adjustability, traditional clicky arms right there, hold its position really nice. This little bit is actually metal, and then that fork, the little arm going in here holding on our driver, is actually metal as well. Going into a plastic driver here, and then as far as your ear cups around here is plastic, and they're held on by that little plastic bracket in there. I know, it sounded a little confusing because we got bracket, 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 right? But where it's moving is really just on this arm up there, and then as far as your adjustment point. You do have that swivel as well, but the nice thing is you're going from metal to metal, so that's not really going to be a weak point. Maybe if you drop them, could that break? I don't know. You can see they got a little bit of give there, but I gotta really press into them. But maybe that would be my one worry point there. But everything else feels really incredibly solid on us. Like, I don't get too worried about it, as minimalistic as it is. I'm not gonna say it's stinking cozy, because when I take this headset and put it on, it's just so weird putting on a headset like this and I hear myself like perfectly clear. It's so weird. You can see it right here, right? Like my ears are completely open. But the drivers in there, I feel them touch, like I catch myself like adjusting the headset a little bit forward right there, so the drivers are in line with my ears. Now that's gonna differ person to person, how your ears are shaped, but for me, I catch myself wanting to kick them forward, so it's just not resting on my ear right there. But more importantly, these ear pads, if that's what we're gonna call them, I just don't like them. So what I think would be really cool here is if Havit comes out with a replacement pad for these. Again, I'm scared to pull them off, so I'm not gonna, but it would be really cool if they had like a replacement kind of cloth pad for it. That would have been a really nice touch. Now let me go ahead and cover the features and functions on this headset, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give you that microphone test. But on the back left ear cup, you got 3 switches right over here: volume up, volume down, and then your power button. Now these are very small little tactile rubber buttons. I honestly don't like how small they are, because you never know which button you're pressing. Again, they're so small, you'll fat finger to another one. I wish they were separated a little bit more at least. Like, sure, keeping them size, but separate them a little bit more. Anyways, this is your Bluetooth or your power button. You press it twice and it goes to Bluetooth mode. It's not simultaneous, it's one or the other. Again, just double press it, goes to 2.4, double press it again, goes to Bluetooth. Right below that, you have your USB-C port. And as I showed you with all the cables, you can get audio from this, whether it's 3.5, USB-A to C, USB-C to C, you can get audio. Now, the thing about it though, is say if you got your 3.5 cable here, it's not just, again, a 3.5 port, but once you take that USB-C cable, plug it into the headset here, it actually powers off the headset. So you're not gonna be able to take advantage of all the other features and functions on this headset. Unfortunately, again, it's just powered off USB or going 3.5. So nice that you don't need battery power, stinker that it powers the headset off there. And as you see, it stays off. So I'm gonna hold it down here again, and then the headset will power back on. Up above that there, you have your microphone port, which that microphone is detachable, fairly moldable. We'll do that microphone test here shortly. Above that, you have your microphone mute button, and then they call it your spatial audio button here, which you press it and it goes to spatial audio. Press it, it goes to game mode. Press it again, and it'll go to stereo mode. Now, another thing you can do with the microphone button is this RGB on the outside. This is your standard RGB, how it's set, kind of circling around the ring right there. Double press it, and it'll go to static as far as rainbow static, not a static color. Press it 2 times again, and it will go to RGB off if you want to save some battery life. But that's really it. There's no like static colors, which is kind of a stinker. So I catch myself just, again, leaving it like it is whenever it's powered on. Now, another thing I want to show you is within the manual here is multiple pressing those buttons. You have a whole lot of options you can do, again, as far as microphone control or skip track, pickup calls, so on and so forth. You can multi-press multiple buttons on there and really control everything on the headset. The only stinker is even when you're trying to do that, these buttons are so darn small that you're pretty much all the time pressing the wrong button. So now for the microphone test, and that is exactly what you're hearing right now. We are running via the dongle, USB dongle here, and we're just doing a raw microphone test. No tweaking, no adjusting or anything. This is just plug and play, real microphone test. And you all know, if you've been through my headset videos, I don't have a fancy studio, right? This is a game room. This is where I game. My PC's chugging down there. I got a fan right over here chugging, and I got a fan up there chugging, right? So this is, again, I like giving my microphone test as that raw, real, how are you going to experience, right? Not some fancy studio with all this dampening and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So again, this is, they say it's like a noise cancellation, dual microphone or something. So again, is it cutting that stuff out? If I go over to my keyboard here, how much of that are we hearing? I'm not too sure. Again, this is my first microphone test, and I wanted to give it live with you guys. Now, again, that mute button is right up here on the front. Luckily, those are separated a little bit. And then whenever I press it back on, you do get voice prompts in there. Mic off, mic on. But I wanted to see if it gave us any noise. And again, how is the raw microphone test right here? This is what it sounds like. So now for one of the most interesting topics about this headset, I don't know, because I think the comfort and the build and the style was just as interesting and intriguing, right? But the sound, this is where all that we just talked about kind of comes together. Again, with this being open back. Now, Havit is stating this is the first open back wireless gaming headset. That is not true. It is not, because the Turtle Beach Atlas Airs were the first true open back gaming headset. This is completely different from any traditional open back. I would call this like open air. Maybe that would have been a better way to word it. It's like the first open air or the first non-padded game. I don't know, right? This is completely different. So it is the first of its kind like this, but if we're going to word it the first open back, not true, right? First open air, I think is how we should word it. But talking about that, that's what really separates this headset. It's using 32 millimeter drivers, frequency range of 20 to 20, just to put that out there. But with the drivers not resting on your ears, like they touched my ears, as I mentioned in the comfort department, right? But they're not right on your ears. You almost got like a little bit of a space in between them. So none of the sound is really like blasted into you. It's open. Obviously, you're going to hear all of the sound out there. If my dog starts barking, or if my kid is hollering, or if I got a loud environment, anything, your PC chugging, you hear everything. When on traditional like open back type of headphones or headsets, you got a little bit of isolation, at least. Just a little bit, even though you still hear a lot. Well, with these, you hear everything. Every single thing you hear with these. And that sound bleeds right on out with it. And everybody's going to hear what you're listening to. Like if I was playing a game and they had some foul language, I was like, yeah, I gotta turn this down a little bit because I don't want my son hearing that, right? I don't want all this cursing and everything coming through and then my son hearing it. So I caught myself having to tone it down a little bit, you know? But more importantly, like the sound signature and stage of this headset, I'm just gonna be straight, man. I couldn't find something that I wanted to use. And I used it across all of them, right? I was going C to C to get the audio, C to 3.5 into a controller, wirelessly on the PlayStation or on the PC. The only situation I found where I was like, okay, I can game with this and it's manageable is when I plugged it into my Fuxi K7 going USB-C to 3.5 because I could dial down the treble, crank up the bass, and then it was like, okay, this is decent. Like even when you all know I use all of my headsets with Dolby Atmos, and I recommend you do it as well. It livens up your headsets, and it did liven this up, but still all the sound escaping, I had no immersion. I had no body. I just didn't have a fun gaming experience with them. As negative and Debbie Downer as that sounds, but man, I didn't want to use them when I was gaming because my experience was gone. I'm like, man, I want to go replay this mission with a proper gaming headset now because I feel like I didn't experience that. It sounds so negative, but that's what I was feeling, and that's what I wanted to relay to you guys in the video whenever I was gaming with it. It's like, okay, I just beat that mission on this, but now I want to get another headset and go replay it again because I didn't get that immersion. I didn't get the body. I really didn't get much of the environmental sounds either. I did not want to game with these because all that sound was leaving and I didn't get that immersion. Now, where did this headset sound good? The only place I could find it being good is when I was watching videos on YouTube and just regular like that. It was perfectly fine. Like even when I was listening to music, I was like, yeah, this is, I'm just not jive with it. I'm a big music nerd, right? And it just wasn't giving me that detail and excitement within my music. The only place I found myself, okay, I can use these for this scenario, is when I was just watching a random YouTube video online. And then it sounded fine, right? Someone's talking, that's really all I'm getting. I don't need any of that background detail or punch or immersion. I just couldn't get it no matter what I tweaked with this or which connection I got. It just didn't do it. So classing this as a gaming headset, I think is a total miss. I think this should have been like a lifestyle headset. This would have been like a conversation piece. Like if you're on the subway, even though no one wants to hear everything you're listening to, which is what they're gonna, and you're gonna, okay, there's just no situation I think this could work as far as sound, right? Like you're on the subway, you're hearing the subway, you're hearing the people, they're hearing your music, and it sucks for gaming. It's just, I'm sorry, man. Like, it's such a great, innovative, cool product, but in the sound department, it just straight up isn't good. But hold up, I almost forgot to mention about these little inserts that can go in there and create them as like a closed back type of headphone. And that might squash a lot of the things I just talked about. Number one, they kind of seem like an afterthought. Like they're like this beige type of color. I don't know if you can really see that in the camera, but they're not like perfectly white or anything. They're like this foam type bit. Maybe this is a pre-production and they will be black whenever they come out, but this is like a total afterthought. Like it doesn't flow with the headset at all, but they do fit in there. And as far as converting them to say a closed back type headphone when you go like that, let me tell you what, it is 10 times worse than what I just mentioned. I think it's the material and again how the drivers are set up that it just sounds like an incredibly echoey, hollow type of bathroom sound. Like, oh my gosh, I would rather listen to these opened like that than with these inserts in it. It made it so much worse. So it still didn't fix the sound department. So my final conclusion on this new Havit headset, and I know coming right out of the sound department segment, it sounds like I'm just ripping this headset apart and trashing it, right? That's not my point here. My point is to deliver real, raw, honest reviews to you guys, right? My experience that I had, and that is the experience I had. Like busting this out the box, even just looking at it, I was like, holy smokes, this is so cool. Like I gotta get this on my head. I gotta try this out and see what it's all about because it's just fresh and innovative. And I give Havit 2 thumbs up for the innovation and the styling and just the, again, something fresh in the space right here. Like we gotta high five them for that. but it's a total miss in the gaming department as far as sound. Like, if you want these for gaming, like, just save your money. Do not buy these. And by the way, talking about save money, I believe these are on Kickstarter right now, and they got a promo where you can get them for like $100 right now, but regular MSRP, whenever they come to Amazon, I believe they're gonna be around like $200. I think at $100, like, I could say at $100, if you wanna try something cool and just different, then you try these, but it's not gonna be your main headset. Everything that I just said is gonna come to light. You're gonna be like, yeah, nah, this ain't gonna work, you know what I mean? But for $100, I think it's cool. But don't buy this to be your main gaming headset, because it is not going to make the cut. My conclusion is, for $100, maybe you try it. For $200, you don't buy it. But for style, innovation, and something new, 2 thumbs up for Havit.